And this is something that I've just been forcing myself to do, is just do it, and it does make a huge difference on your games. And once this is up and running, as we can see, he's actually moving his Thors up, and that planetary fortress is almost ready to go. So he kills my creep tumor, and this is where I get a good glimpse of his number of Thors that he has. I see 4 or 5 Thors, and checking this out right now, my neural parasite is quite a long way from being done, and I have 3 infestors on the way. They're going to have plenty of energy once neural parasite is ready to go, because they're going to spawn with 75 energy. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to build Zerglings. I'm trying to build anything I can. And right now I actually have a really bad discrepancy between minerals and gas. And actually, Cy Starcraft just put out a game earlier today where he's like, you know, if you've got that many minerals, you're probably not upgrading properly. And just checking this out right now, I do have 1 level ground upgrade. I'm dropping upgrades here, have roach speed, and you know, you can be using upgrades to try to balance out your gas, but they're honestly a lot of times, you know, mineral for mineral, gas for gas, and the reason for this is I am mining off of 4 gas right now, and I decided not to go Muta. I built a few Mutas, more or less just to fake the fact that he's going Mutas. I'm hoping that he continues to build these Thors, because he's probably thinking, ah, noob, you're gonna go Muta Ling, well, I'm gonna get a shit ton of Thors and just destroy you. And, oh, just poor little Zergling. Just got absolutely destroyed. He's doing a better job in his upgrades, but the idea is when I run into his Thors, I want to have a lot of Zerglings, a healthy number of Roaches, and Infestors, and that should just absolutely dominate whatever build he's going. I mean, look at this. I didn't even build Mutalisks. He's throwing down turrets here. He's got 3 turrets here. He's got turrets in the back of his base, so every turret is 150 minerals, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 turrets that he's built. I mean, I've made him waste 1,000 minerals just by building 400 minerals worth of Zerglings. And we check out the food count. I'm at 164 right now, and he's at 146. So, army tab, I'm ahead in the army tab, and I'm ahead in the food count. And my reason for that, if we go back to that income tab, 59 over 52, and I've been ahead of him for a very long time in this game, and that's going to make a huge difference. So seeing this come in right here, what I actually wanted to do, and this is quite funny, is I was going to use these banglings to hopefully go around and blow up this PF, this totally OP building over here, and hope that his troops were somewhere over here, and fake an attack over here, make him pull his troops away, and then boom, you're gone. But instead, he's over here with the Zelnaga, sees what's going to happen, and all of my poor banglings, you know, they're just, oh, rape, and they barely do any damage. You know, just so ineffective against the Thors. I just threw away so many banglings. That does not make me happy. Centrifugal hooks is almost done, and there's really no need to have these guys right now because there's no frickin' Marines. All you have is, oh, fuck. That's a lot of Thors. That's, I can't do math. 8 plus 5 is a lot. It's actually 13. I'm quite decent at math. But I happen to have 7 Infestors. So, we see this attack going, the Roach's Concave. All your Thors is now mine. And when you have this many Thors, it's pretty powerful to see all those Thors on the field, but being that these Infestors countered that so easily, half of your army just turned against you, and I was just surrounding you with Wings and Roaches. There was nothing you could do right there. That was just complete and total domination, and just checking this out right now, I lost very few units compared to him having just a huge, you know, dump on that part. Resources lost. Mine is very high because I literally lost like 15 harvesters earlier in the game. And, you know, just throwing away some Zerglings and some Banglings and stuff earlier on. And just checking this out, he's throwing up another factory, and in the production he's building tanks, has more plating and more Thors. So now he's like, oh, if you're gonna get Roaches and Zerglings, I'm gonna get tanks. But there still should be Marines coming out. You really gotta get Marines, because these units act as the shields for your Marines. You spread your tanks, you spread your Marines out over here, and all of a sudden I come into attack and I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't attack that. And this right here, this is just a terrible idea. I'm really not sure what I was thinking when I decided to attack this planetary fortress. I'm like, well, maybe I've got enough anglings where I can try to take it down, but just taking a look at this, you know, these planetary fortresses are just so powerful. Like, even though I have all these units attacking it, mass repair is just absolutely destroying me, and I'm losing troops I do not need to be. I need to pull back. And that Infestor, will he get away? He'll live to fight another day. And even though that still keeps me way ahead in the food count compared to him, I really did not need to throw those troops away. I almost get the Raven right there. And just doing a little bit of damage here and there, just poking in when I can. Going over to the Harvester tab, we're both at 61 out of 61. I'm throwing down a 4th over here, and I'm getting creep spread, you know. decently throughout the map. I could be doing a better job, especially, you know, replacing those creep tumors. I've got the extra mineral now that I've decided I'm going to start building more infestors on the ground and start getting more banglings. And this is actually right now when I decide that I'm going to be throwing down, you know, more... Oh my god. So many harvesters. That's when I decide that I'm going to need more than just 4 geysers going at this, because infestors are actually very gas heavy every time you produce one of them. And just continuing to go back to this, I am getting Overlord speed because I actually want to move over the map, scout, and start pooping creep all over the place. And we take a look at this. You know, this is a decent build, but he has so many unspent minerals. That is just ridiculous. Not to say that I'm overly that much better right now, but I'm also very close to my food cap versus you, on the other hand, buddy. You are not close to your food cap at all. You should be dumping these into Marines. I mean, there should be reactors on both of these barracks just producing them hardcore. But for some reason, my opponent decided that he's going to be able to win this game, you know, with just mech. And Terran mech is quite powerful, but I do not think it's strong enough. And this Roach is going to be my scout. I can see that there's plenty of tanks, and there's still a PF there. I guess it didn't decide to go anywhere. It didn't fall through the earth or anything, because of its massive OP-ness. And just looking at that ball right there, that is a very tank-friendly ball. I would not want to run into all of these tanks, especially the fact that they're now doing 60 damage to armored units. Just 2 tanks will destroy an infestor like it's no one's business. So right now, my only logical choice to break down this planetary fortress, seeing that he has tanks and Thors, is to do the unthinkable and to get a greater Spire and to go for frickin' Broodlords against a Terran. And even though all it would take is, like, you know, half of a Viking to counter 1,000 Broodlords because they're so OP. And I'm sorry I keep saying OP. I don't mean to be such a jackass when I'm casting this particular game. I'm just kind of wired on coke and energy drinks and stuff. But I'm able to come in here and I'm neural parasiting everything. And you know, when you have mech units like that, there just really is not enough units right there. And if I can take control over half your army, I mean, what are you going to do at that point? When I have roaches and lings that just surround you and destroy everything. Imagine how much deadlier that ball would have been if there would have been Marines mixed into the ball. I mean, they would have taken out far, far more of my units. And we take a look at this, I'm still at my food cap. And he is nowhere near it. Still sitting on so many resources. He should have Marines. I want you to have Marines. You know, I want you to have those Marines for you. And the only reason I actually sent these troops in right there, you know, it's not because I'm stupid, it's not because I wanted them to die, it is actually because I needed them to die. I needed to clear out some of my food, that way I can produce a massively awesome amount of corruptors. As you can see, I actually went a little overzealous and produced more corruptors than I'll need, more than I have, you know, food count for. And I realize I'm a little low on gas, but I'm going to morph all these guys into Broodlords. I still have plenty of infestors to counter any mech that he throws at me, and I'm going to be getting some banglings just for safe measure in case he pushes him with, you know, 100 Marines, but he won't be doing that. You know, all he's going to continue to do is build this mech. And if anything, guys, this should be a good example of, you know, why you really need to diversify your army. Like right here, if I would have gotten creep just a little bit more, I actually could have really delayed that command center from going down. And these Hellions, I really do not understand the choice of putting Hellions on the field, maybe because they cost minerals only, but I'm not really deploying that many Zerglings. These guys do squat against Roaches, they will not touch my Broodlords, and they're actually pretty poor against Infestors just because they do count as, you know, armored units. I'd really like them to take away that armor tag and just them stay psionic. That would be really freaking sweet. But again, slowly encroaching upon him. I'm taking another expansion down here, and now that I've got, you know, so many Broodlords in the sky, this is just going to be awesome, because he's not expecting this. His troops are all down here, just this pitiful little number of Thors will not be able to do anything. And now all the Broodlings coming in, siege tanks actually raining down death upon their own troops, and you know, I can imagine this tech switch is kind of like a WTF moment. And because the Banglings do such a good job at getting surrounds, and their DPS is actually fairly high, you know, for such a small little unit, this planetary fortress is going to go down. And now that the PF is down, I will have no problem moving in with the rest of my troops. Very few Zerglings, the Hellions just not able to do anything, and again, just taking control over everything that's on the field. Your Thors is now mine, and the SCVs have nothing to repair, as the siege tanks rain down death upon their own troops. Broodlings cleaning up everything, and now I actually need to kill these Thors, and I didn't even realize it, but these missile turrets were actually eating away at my Broodlords the entire frickin' time, and it kind of bugs me that I lost 5 out of my 4 Broodlords because they're so expensive each, but the damage is done. We check out the Harvester count right now, 42 over 68. I am now effectively running on, you know, 3 base, pretty heavily. I have a fourth one going up. I have an Overlord over here, and now I'm going to be able to move in over here, and this hasn't even begun to morph into anything. There's nothing that this base can do to survive, aside from liftoff, because I have nothing to attack the sky. You know, just imagine that a few Banshees could actually really wreak some havoc, but I can still fungal growth them. I've got plenty of infestors, and a lot of them have plenty of energy just ready to go. And one more desperate attempt. Just looking at this, I think it's okay that I have 7,000 minerals right now, because I'm spending this game really close to food cap, and, you know, there's really only so much I can do at that point. For him to be sitting on 3,000 minerals, there should be like 15 barracks up just producing marines right now. I really do not understand that. So for anyone that plays Terran watching these videos, just understand that you can build marines. We don't like it when you build marines, but it's okay if you do anyway. We won't mind, because then we'll just use banglings, and they're fun to use. But Roach is just destroying everything. Broodlord's just sending out broodlings of death that love to eat everything, just chewing it up. Look at him go, just yum num 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 num. And at this point, it's kind of hard to, you know, really deny the fact that he is going to lose this game. There's a small number of Thors. There's a lot of Hellions here, and I think he decided that, you know, Hellions just do awesome against this composition. Everything is armor. And right here, you know, the Thors, in those numbers, are able to actually work away on my Broodlords. And just checking this out right here, it's really just a matter of time before I just decide to say screw it and rush in there. And Neuroparasite, again, taking control of almost every one of those Thors. Roach is getting in there, and these Hellions just being completely ineffective. And he decides to get a Ghost and EMP my Infestors. I really like that play. That would have been nice to see those earlier. I actually have never seen a Terran do that to stop Infestor play. Jesus, I hope Terran don't do that, because I've seen what it does to Protoss. Protoss don't like it, and I don't like it. So, big GG's out, and I think that GG was adequately placed, as there's roaches in your base, there's broodlords in the sky, and there's infestors just like getting their mucus all over the place. It's really disgusting. So I'm sorry if this game was a little long-winded, but the reason why I brought it out is it's Terran's stubbornness that really lost him this game. Beeg has played a lot of games. He's actually got more League games played than me, and maybe this is a really effective build, you know, go in 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, but in 1v1 you need army diversity. Like, all he's doing is producing Hellions right here that will do him absolutely no good against this composition. I mean, I think they actually give health, you know, to the roaches sometimes when they attack. But, you know, a bunch of barracks producing marines this entire time, I probably wouldn't have been able to get these broodlords, because broodlords, you know, really do quite poorly against marines if there isn't roach shield in front of them. I would have used infestors and banglings to deal with the ball of marines, but it would have made those mech battles a lot harder, because his food count could have been so much higher, just because they would have been supplemented by marines, and just getting in there and taking control of everything. You can't mind control every frickin' marine. But I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Thank you for watching. This is Malachi Cowtipper signing out.